Sacred anatomy, Hebrew names of human organs, their numerical values and hidden mysteries. Here's a powerful, structured article exploring human organs, their Hebrew names, numerical values, gematria, and the biblical and mystical insights connected to them. Sacred anatomy, Hebrew names of human organs, their numerical values and hidden mysteries. The human body isn't just a biological machine, it's a spiritual structure that reflects divine design. In Hebrew, the names of vital organs carry deep meaning, with their gematria, numerical values, revealing spiritual truths, biblical echoes, and hidden patterns tied to life, health, and creation. The body as a divine blueprint. Each Hebrew word for a human organ isn't just a label, it's a code. Through gematria, scripture, and spiritual insight, we see that the heart, YAH-WEH, connects love and wisdom. The brain, YAH-WEH, channels divine thought. The lungs, YAH-WEH, hold spirit breath. The liver, KavEd, carries honor. The blood, dam, is sacred life. The bones, atzamot, hold eternal memory. The kidneys, kilyot, whisper divine counsel. The human body is not merely biological, it's biblical. Crafted by the Creator, it's infused with spiritual energy, divine intention, and cosmic balance. Heavy like heart, YAH-WEH. Meaning, heart, the center of emotion and will. Numerical value. Lamed is equal to 30. Bed is equal to 2. Total, 32. Biblical insight. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, Deuteronomy 6:5. Mystical insight. 32 parts of wisdom in the Kabbalistic tree of life, YAH-WEH symbolize the full emotional spiritual connection to the divine. The heart bridges intellect and action, spirit and flesh. The 32 parts of wisdom in Kabbalah and how the Hebrew word for heart, YAH-WEH, with its gematria of 32, symbolize the full emotional spiritual connection to the divine. YAH-WEH, heart, and the 32 parts of wisdom, the emotional blueprint of the divine. The heart in Hebrew, YAH-WEH, is more than a vital organ. It's a spiritual center, the seat of emotion, will, and consciousness. In Kabbalah, the mystical tradition of Judaism, YAH-WEH, gematria, 32, connects directly to the 32 parts of wisdom, the foundational structure of divine knowledge in the tree of life. Let's unpack what this means, spiritually, symbolically, and practically. YAH-WEH is equal to 32, a code of the heart. Lamed is equal to 30. Bed is equal to 2. Total is equal to 32. The number 32 appears prominently in Sefer Yetzirah, the earliest known book of Jewish mysticism. It opens with a cryptic statement. By 32 mystical parts of wisdom, God engraved and created his world. Sefer Yetzirah 1:1. These 32 parts consist of 10 Sephirot, divine emanations, like wisdom, understanding, beauty, etc. 22 Hebrew letters, which are seen as building blocks of all creation. The fact that YAH-WEH is equal to 32 suggests that the heart is the living intersection of these divine parts. It is not just a physical pump, but the spiritual core of perception, alignment, and consciousness. The 32 parts of wisdom, divine network. The 10 Sephirot, divine emanations. These are spiritual channels through which the infinite light flows into the world. They include Keta, crown, divine will. Chokmah, wisdom. Bina, understanding. Chest, kindness. Gevurah, strength. Tiferet, beauty, compassion. Why the heart is the gateway to wisdom? If the 32 parts are how divine energy enters the world, the heart, LAV, is the human channel through which we receive, process, and respond to that energy. Here's how. Emotion meets insight. True wisdom isn't cold or mechanical, it must be felt, internalized. The heart turns intellect into empathy, and truth into action. Free will and moral choices. In Deuteronomy 30:14 it says, "It is in your mouth and your heart, so that you may do it." The heart is where we choose to walk the paths of life, or stray from them. Balance and integration. The heart of Kabbalah is the place of integration. It balances the opposites, mercy and judgment, mind and body, divine and human. Love bridges mind and spirit. In the human body, the brain is often seen as the seat of logic and analysis. The LAV bridges it with the soul. In Deuteronomy 4:39, "Know this day, and bring it back to your heart, that the Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth below." Notice the phrasing, "bring it back to your heart." That's the path from knowledge to wisdom. From the head to the heart. Kabbalistic teaching, the LAV as spiritual compass. In Chassidic thought, especially in the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov and Rabbi Shneor Zalman of Liadi, the heart is where the divine truly lives. You can study Torah all day, but if it doesn't reach the LAV, it's dry. The LAV feels the truth, not just understands it. When it aligns with the 32 paths, you are in flow with the divine structure of the universe. Practical implication, living with a conscious heart. How do we access the 32 paths in our daily lives? Study with emotion, don't just learn facts. Let spiritual knowledge touch your heart. Balance judgment and mercy. The heart is the place of Tiferet, the balance of extremes. Speak from the heart in Hebrew, live, is also linked to speech and expression, since bet also begins bircha, blessing. Act with integrity. The 32 paths are not just ideas, they're meant to be lived. Every choice can either connect or disconnect us from the divine blueprint. Final thought. The fact that love is equal to 32 is not a coincidence, it's a cosmic clue. Your heart is not just emotional, it's structural. It's wired into the divine blueprint of creation. When you align your heart with the 32 paths of wisdom, you don't just live, you live in tune with the source. The 32 paths of wisdom in the Kabbalistic tree of life. The 10 Sephirot, divine emanations, each of these is considered a path of wisdom. Keta, crown, divine will, transcendent unity. Chokma, wisdom, creative insight. Bina, understanding, analytical thought structure. Chaste, kindness, love, expansion. Gevura, strength, judgment, discipline. Tiferet, beauty, compassion, harmony. Netzach, eternity, endurance, victory. Hod, glory, humility, sincerity. Yesod, foundation, connection, channeling. Malchut, kingdom, receptivity, manifestation. 2. The 22 Hebrew letters. These are spiritual currents that flow between the Sephirot. Each letter represents a unique force or concept. 3 mother letters, fundamental elements. Aleph, air. Mem, water. Shin, fire. 7 double letters, with 2 pronunciations linked to planets and emotions. 4. Bet, blessing, curse. 5. Gaimel, giving, withholding. 6. Dalet, humility, pride. 7. Kaf, crown, shame. 8. Pah, speech, silence. 9. Resh, peace, war. 10. Tav, truth, falsehood. 12 simple letters, linked to zodiac and human traits. 11. He, sight. 12. Vav, hearing. 13. Zan, smell. 14. Chet, speech. 15. Tet, taste. 16. Yod, action 17. Lamed, learning 18. Nun, movement 19. Samach, support 20. Ayin, anger 21. Tasari, righteousness 22. QF, holiness. Total, 10, Sephiroth, plus 22, letters, is equal to 32 paths of wisdom. These paths form the framework for understanding reality, the self, and the divine in Kabbalah. Each path is a channel of divine energy, and when the heart-LEV is equal to 32, aligns with them, the soul experiences connection and elevation. The Hebrew alphabet, including the letter, its name in transliteration, numerical value, symbolic meaning or significance, a brief description or concept associated with each letter. Hebrew alphabet with meanings and numerical values. Aleph, 1, oneness, God, unity silent letter, symbolize the divine and beginnings. Bet, 2, house, duality means house, represents creation and duality. Gaimel, 3, giving, camel symbol of movement, kindness, and reward. Dalet, 4, door, humility means door, signifies access and humility. He, 5, revelation, breath represents divine revelation and the breath of life. Vav, 6, connection, hook this means hook, symbolize spiritual connection. Zan, 7, weapon, spiritual struggle signifies struggle, sustenance, or protection. Chet, 8, life, transcendence associated with chai, life, beyond nature. Tate, 9, goodness, hidden good symbol of potential and inner goodness. Yod, 10, hand, divine spark smallest letter, represents creation and humility. Kaf, 20, palm, actualization symbolize potential becoming reality. Lamed, 30, learning, aspiration tallest letter, link to growth and teaching. Mem, 40, water, wisdom flow of life and hidden knowledge. Final mem is equal to completion. Nun, 50, fish, faithfulness symbol of humility and continuity. Samek, 60, support, protection circular, implies completeness and divine aid. Ayin, 70, eye, perception vision, insight, and awareness. Pe, 80, mouth, expression creation through speech, communication. Tasari, 90, righteousness justice, humility, and spiritual striving. Final Tasari is equal to fulfillment. QF, 100, holiness, contradiction hidden truths, paradox, and holiness through contrast. Resh, 200, head, beginning leadership and awareness. Shin, 300, fire, transformation divine change and power, God's name, Shadda. Tav, 400, truth, completion final letter, symbolize truth and divine seal. Kabbalistic interpretations, spiritual symbolism. Aleph, oneness. Composed of two yods and a vav, yod above, God, yod below, man, connected by vav, hook. Symbolize the unification of the spiritual and physical. Bet house. The first letter in the Torah, Bereshit, represents duality, heaven-earth, male-female, and the container for creation. Gaimel the giver. Symbol of chaste, loving kindness. Often depicted as running toward Dalet to give charity. Dalet the receiver. Symbolize the poor, dal, and humility. Opens the door for spiritual growth. He breath of God. The structure allows for divine revelation. Associated with the breath that gave Adam life. Vav connector. Used as a prefix meaning an. Connects heaven and earth, masculine energy. Zen, weapon struggle. The balance between spiritual pursuit and physical needs. Cuff's potential crown. Shaped like a container, the palm. Symbolize the ability to hold, receive, and shape reality. Lamed learning hurts reach. Tallest letter, reaching upward. Represents study, aspiration, and transformation. Meme a water wisdom. Closed meme is equal to hidden wisdom. Open meme is equal to revealed wisdom. Water flows, spreads, nourishes. Nun faithful fish. Regular nun is equal to bent, humble. Final nun is equal to upright, righteous in the end. Represents fall and rise. Samek, support. Encloses space completely. Symbol of God's protective presence. Ayin, perception. Means eye, but true vision is spiritual. Can be used for good or evil depending on clarity. Pay, mouth speech. Power of the tongue. Pay encloses a hidden bet, speaking must be rooted in creation goodness. Tasarid, righteousness. Bent posture is equal to humility of the tajadik, righteous person. Final form is equal to straight uplifted tajadik after refining. QF, holy in the low. The only letter that descends below the line. Symbolize sanctifying even the lowest parts of life. Resh, beginning again. Represents head and change. Symbol of humility and renewal. Shin, fire, transformation. 3 heads is equal to pillars of fire, balance, and divine forces. Associated with divine names and renewal. Dove, completion, truth. Last letter of the alphabet. Seal of truth is equal to Aleph Mem Tav. Symbol of fulfillment and divine mark. Love bridges mind and spirit. In the human body, the brain is often seen as the seat of logic and analysis. The Lev bridges it with the soul. In Deuteronomy 4:39, know this day, and bring it back to your heart, that the Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth below. Notice the phrasing, bring it back to your heart. That's the path from knowledge to wisdom. From the head to the heart. Kabbalistic teaching, the Lev as spiritual compass. In Chassidic thought, especially in the teachings of the Baal Shem Tov and Rabbi Shneor Zalman of Liadi, the heart is where the divine truly lives. You can study Torah all day, but if it doesn't reach the Lev, it's dry. The Lev feels the truth, not just understands it. When it aligns with the 32 paths, you are in flow with the divine structure of the universe. Practical implication, living with a conscious heart. How do we access the 32 paths in our daily lives? Study with emotion, don't just learn facts. Let spiritual knowledge touch your heart. Balance judgment and mercy. The heart is the place of Tiferet, the balance of extremes. Speak from the heart in Hebrew, live, is also linked to speech and expression, since bet also begins Bercha, blessing. Act with integrity. The 32 paths are not just ideas, they're meant to be lived. Every choice can either connect or disconnect us from the divine blueprint.